lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and he missed the complete that. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck. Just 3 rounds remain in the HPP Simulation Sportscar Challenge, and tonight these drivers will be faced with a real challenge, racing at a track known for giving even the top drivers in the world a headache. And trust us when we say top drivers, because many of them have come from here, as we welcome you to the Interlagos circuit in Sao Paulo, Brazil, here on the Global SimRacing channel. Hi everyone, I'm Samuel Ryman, and with me in the booth tonight is Sean Ambrose, who will be covering the Daytona Prototype and GT3 classes, as well as Justin Prince, who will bring us all the action in the GTE class. Behind the scenes we have our director, Jed Yamin, and he is doing all of the button pushing tonight, using camera sets provided by the one and only Dougie Beard. Justin, 1 week after Montreal and now with VIR and Imola on the horizon, it seems iRacing has saved all of the trickiest racetracks on the sim for last during this season. Tell us a little bit about this historic road course.
Yes, this track has been hosting races since 1940. Here in beautiful Brazil, this 2.676 mile circuit is a very technical one as well, and challenging to handle with its 15 turns, as well with a lot of ups and downs across the course with lots of hills to conquer. To help explain more, let's head to your GSRC lap guide.
Alright, we've got Kevin Brown behind the wheel of the GSRC BMW, so let's do a lap around Interlagos. Turn 1 is a great chance for a pass, but with the way it switches back into 2, it's possible to defend from the outside, so watch for guys trying different things through here. Now we head through the Curva del Sol. It's flat out through this sweeping left-hander and feeds you onto the backstretch. At the end of this is 4, which is another good place to try and outbrake your opponent, and since it's a bit more straightforward, it's probably a better spot to get it done. The track really drops away here, so the car tends to want to push wide. Just watch out for that wheel spin like Kevin gets as you feed on the power. Now we head into the more technical portion of the circuit. 6 and 7 are going to be a double apexer with a big rise at the end. With the track being modernized, there's lots of paved runoff to the outside if you lose it. Then there's not much time before you're breaking into 8. You can really get away with taking tons of curb on the inside here. Right away, you've got a slow left-hander. There's lots of crazy camber going on here too, so keep it nice and tucked on the inside. Now we've got a curved straight that feeds us into the duckspill. Once again, lots of curb on the inside that you could take, so now's your chance to be greedy with it. One more time, compromise the exit and give yourself the best entry possible into 11. It's flat out if you hit it right, and you'll want to use every inch of the circuit. Now it's heavy braking for 12, possibly the most important corner of the lap. Get a bad exit and you'll lose precious seconds all the way to the line. In these cars, you won't lift until you get back to turn 1, so from here it's simply a matter of putting as little steering angle in as possible. As has become custom, you'll want to chop off the pit entry to really shorten the run. But that's a lap around Interlagos.
Well, since this is an iRacing official series race, there's always a chance that there are some names in this race that we haven't seen before, but on the other side of the coin, Sean, there's always a chance that some of the names we're going to see tonight are those fighting at the top of a championship. Let's have a look at them.
Fighting in that HPP championship, yes, Sam. Let's look at the Daytona prototypes. Up at the top of the heap there, we've got Sam Fitzpatrick. Oh, Fitzy. Michael Evdoka there following in second. Pretty good little bit distance back there to Carlo Labate in third. Gabriel Ruse in fourth. And Clint Shane Smith sitting there in fifth. But boy, Clint, a fast runner every week, could certainly find his way back to the front of this. But we've only got 3 weeks remaining here, Sam. So not much time to get it done. Let's look at now the GTE class. This is the Fords, the GT40s, and the Ferraris. Benjamin Perez there in first. Brian Sutton, 37 points behind. Elliott Biddle back in third. Jonathan Brault just a point behind Biddle. Great battle there for the top 3. And then Miguel Vigo in fifth, 81 points back. on to the GT3s. This is certainly one of the bigger classes week in, week out. Javi Utreras there in first, Dexter Castro second, CM Skinner third, Renz Brinkman in fourth. And look at that, Cameron Barry's got it to within a point. And Renz Brinkman, Utreras, Castro. Utreras, of course, passing Castro now up there by himself in first. But Castro hopes to keep it close with a good finish this evening, boys.
But Justin, a good finish could be hard to come by tonight as we've got qualifying going on. This race only split into two splits, despite the fact we had 70 drivers registered for it. We have a 35 car field on not the biggest track on the sim.
Yes, this is one of the faster road courses, really. You get around here about 1 minute and 24 seconds on the prototypes, 1:27 in the GTEs, and about 1:30 seconds at the top time at the moment in your GT3s. But this is not a lot of space at the same time. Yes, there's a fair amount of track surface space, but at the same time, there is not a lot of time to really work. If you calculate to about an average of, let's say, 1.5 minutes per lap, that's about, in a 45-minute race tonight, that's maybe 30 laps at the most you'll get, and it's not going to probably reach that. With the prototypes, of course, it's probably going to be more like 23, 24. So you don't have a lot of time to work with to try and work your way through the field if you start at the back and struggle in your qualifying times. Like, taking a look at some of your GTEs right now, the times are varying for some from the top time 1:27 to as slow as 1:30 seconds, and you still have a prototype mixed into the same time span as these GTEs. So there's not a lot of room or space for mistakes, with this being a faster circuit and probably a shorter race as well, and a more technical track where one mistake, you'll end up losing a ton of spots.
Yeah, I think a few of the races here today have been going around 30 laps for the prototypes, but as you mentioned, going to be lower for the GTE cars, so not a lot of space and a lot of cars crowded onto the circuit, Sean. The good news is I see all of our championship contenders are here. At the very least, the top 3 drivers from each class in the points are in attendance tonight with 3 rounds left to go. Who knows, if we see Sam Fitzpatrick or Benjamin Perez or even Javi Gutierrez have a bad race tonight, that could close the battle for the top position in the points in any of those classes.
Really could, Sam. It is good to see everybody here, but like I said here a few moments ago, it's, well, there's only 3 races left, so everything, it seems like the importance of making these races is at its height right now this season. So good to see everybody present. The usual cast of characters are here in the Daytona prototypes. Sure to see Luis Paulo Gallen and Clint Shane Smith and Michael Abdoka, Sam Fitzpatrick, all going at it here right now. Luis Paulo Gallen sits actually on the pole. Both of his laps are in the books here. Lone qualifying going on right now. In the GT3s, it's Rocky Garcia on point right now. Both of his laps in with a 130.6. Daniel Cruz just behind him. Javi Utreras. Dexter Castro out there trying to find speed, but it looks like he's got his 2 laps in and only good enough to qualify for 7th. That's going to be a big deal in that championship battle there between him and Javi Utreras. So definitely much to watch there in those 2 classes, guys.
Yeah, you see the leaderboard up on the left-hand side of your screen is showing the positions for each class based on whichever car is on screen. Go ahead, Justin.
I was just going to point out, you're seeing some of the times from, say, the GTEs right now. Most of them, for especially the top 5, are some drivers we haven't seen in a while, like Dustin Hickman, like Gianni Vecchio. Those are all very close times when you look at it. 127.5 is the fastest time. At about 5th, it's 127.8. So it's going to be interesting to watch all the close action here across the track. So let's see what happens, Samuel.
Yeah, of course, one downside, although it makes it exciting for us, but maybe not for the drivers who want to have a clean and predictable race. One downside for those drivers on having a 35-car field is there may be some drivers who have just worked their way out of a second split and kind of need to maybe get their bearings with racing with the big guys here. Who knows, we may even see a little bit of chaos today, but hopefully not too much, although we are sure that we're going to be in for an exciting race. Let's tell you the 35 drivers who are in it, beginning with our 10 prototype drivers, being headed by Luis Paulo Gallon. He took the pole over Clint Shane Smith by 0.4 of a second. Smith has been looking like he'll get a win soon. It just hasn't happened yet. Carlo Labate will be starting third, alongside him Michael Evdoka, and then our points leader in prototype, Sam Fitzpatrick. Boy, he'll want to work his way up from 5th. He's alongside Christopher Hendrick. Blake Haswell and Aaron Farmer will be on the 4th row, and then the only other prototype is Tyler Tucker, who, as you mentioned, Justin, actually set a slower qualifying time than a couple of the GTs.
Yeah, that time was about 2 seconds off of the last prototype. But in your GTEs, Gianni Vecchio, who won at Montreal last week, starts on the pole alongside Dakota Fripp. Dustin Hickman is in row 2 with Elliot Biddle. Biddle third in points in your GTE standings. In the next row, it is Jerkez Opala along with Benjamin Perez, your current points leader by 37 points. Jonathan Broad, who has been performing very well throughout the season, will start just behind him. Brian Sutton and Miguel Vigo are also going to follow right behind in row number 9, while Luke Cruz and Paulo Valsuera Uribe starts off in the last recorded times for the GTEs. 2 did not record times. Iker Estefana, who stalled on the way to the start of his qualifying time, and Yvonne Droulet.
All right, the most important class on track, the GT3s. Not the most important, but I certainly love him. On the pole, Rocky Garcia. On the pole again, second week in a row. Daniel Cruz going to start second. In third, there, Yavi Utreras with a great qualifying time. Ross Rizzo qualifying 4th. And in 5th, going to be Jesse Stevens, the Georgia driver. 6th, CM Skinner. 7th, Dexter Castro. 8th, Charles Peretti. And Mirko Twaltonic going to start 9th. Lucas Karsten 10th. Juan Carlos Vakawame 11th. 12, Satnam Singh, and 13th. 13 DPs today. That's a good field, man. Christoph John. He was there at the back of the field. And yeah, that's 13 drivers. Okay, good deal.
And to my knowledge there, starting 10th place in GT3, that would be Lucas Karsten. To my knowledge, he's the only Brazilian in this race, which is a bit of a shame because I know the Brazilians, this being the only Brazilian track on iRacing, are usually quite a huge fans of this track, so we wish him the best, although he will have a bit of his work cut out for him. Anyhow, a bit of a short pace lap here. The pace car already leading the prototype field across the crest of a hill here, and they are about to take a green flag with Luis Paulo Gallon in control of a field on the inside. He had 0.4 of a second over Clint Shane Smith in qualifying, but we know Smith is hungry for that first victory. Gallon is finally on the loud pedal. Pace car is off. We are racing here, Interlagos, and a nice start by the driver of the red number 10 car there, Luis Paulo Gallon. Don't think he's done enough races to really work himself up into championship contention, so he's here racing for the win. Clean start for the prototypes, Justin.
In the GTEs, a clean start so far from them as they go into the first corner. Vecchio leads them in two by 2, almost 3 wide in fact, at the start as one of the cars right behind it. Uribe losing a ton of spots at the start, but a clean start overall as everyone files in single file, Sean.
Nice clean break in the GT3s. Rocky Garcia out in Sena S is your leaders. Yavi Utreras picks up 1 spot, rocking behind him. Ross Rizzo already challenging Daniel Cruz as they head into Casita del Lago. Nice run down to 5. Already line astern in the GT3 field.
Very good for these drivers in all three classes to get off to clean starts there, because that opening sequence of turns, those center S's, can be quite hectic. Got a great battle going on near the front in GTE, Justin. I just saw Elliot Biddle and Dakota Fripp side by side.
Yes, and Biddle ended up keeping the spot, or getting by, I should say, for third. Fripp, who started on the outside pole, is dropping back quickly compared to some of the top drivers. Benjamin Perez now biting his ankles, trying to get by for fourth position. And right now, a bunch of battles really, mostly single file, but there still is a lot of time here to time out your passes, with this being a 45-minute race.
45 minutes. Yeah, already see, Sean, some drivers abusing track limits a little bit. You don't want to do that too much. It's an official iRacing Series race. 17 incident points is the limit.
You will disappear. I guarantee you, you will disappear. You will be there and then you will be gone. If you exceed that limit, and this is an easy track to exceed those limits. Overtaking here, Daniel Cruz trying to make a move on Yabu Utreras. He got into one hot. Ooh, look at that, man. Daniel Cruz going on by. Nice work there for Cruz. Heading down to Dolago. Could be an opportunity here for Yabi to get that back. Yabi's going to play nicely here. It has allowed our leader here in the GT3s, Rocky Garcia, to kind of open it up now. About a second and a half already.
All of the drivers staying close together in the early stages here. Great to see from such a large field. Shows you just how good all of these drivers are. They mind their P's and Q's in the opening laps as Luis Paulo Gallen leads them around in the prototype field to complete lap 2.
Yeah, your GTEs right now, Gianni Vecchio currently just pulling away for the most part in his class, just like you're seeing Paulo Gallen doing. Justin Hickman's been able to keep up with him fairly well, 1.1 seconds back, but it's currently the Vecchio and Hickman show, just to describe everything, because Biddle and Fripp are struggling to keep up just behind them with how good these two have started right out of the starting gun.
And a strong strength of field at the front of the GTE field there, Justin. Remember, in an iRacing official series race, the guy with the highest rating gets the number 1 and so on back. Here at the front of the GTEs, we have the 3 car, the 1 car, the 6 and the 2. Meanwhile, a bit of a battle going on in prototype for 5th. I think Michael Evdoka made a mistake in turn 4, and Christopher Hendrick almost capitalized on it, but wasn't able to. Getting very close there, almost a collision.
Yeah, really close there, man. Really close. I'd like to see Sean's thoughts on that, because it looked like with the smoke coming up, it might have been a tire lock, don't you think?
Oh yeah, definitely. Certainly early on in this race, easy to lock them up. You don't want to make a mistake that's going to wreck the car, and a lockup sometimes might be your only save there. Again, anything could happen. Any one of a number of scenarios. Could be a little nervous in the cockpit there. The pressure. A little bit too much pressure to the pedal. Battle for third.
Yeah, it's Sam Fitzpatrick.
Yep.
He started 5th. I think we've seen this in the last couple of rounds. Our championship leader, as Labate almost goes off behind him, our championship leader, Fitzpatrick, I don't think is the best qualifier. But boy, when it comes to race time, he knows how to carve his way to the front of the field. Already ahead of the driver he's fighting to hold off in the points, Michael Evdoka, we saw falling back there the 5th. Despite the fact that Evdoka started in front of Fitzpatrick, and Evdoka could still lose that 5th position to Christopher Hendrick.
Now it's going to be important that Sam be consistent here. You've got Gallen and Smith both up there, the Australians. Obviously exhibit great pace every week. He doesn't want to let them get too far away. He does have to be a little bit concerned about Labate here right behind him. So Sam in kind of a tricky position right now. It's both sides of the sword. I got to be fast, I got to be consistent, and I got to defend against Labate, who runs right on him there in Pico de Pato.
Yeah, as we were watching how close that battle for 5th is, Sean caught out the window there how close the battle for 3rd was getting in the hairpin. Fitzpatrick having a hard time to pull away. Boy, the last thing Evdoka wants back here, though, is to be rear-ended or anything by Hendrick. Evdoka really needs to remain in that position and be there to capitalise if something did happen to Fitzpatrick, because it's not going to be too long before we start talking about lap traffic, and that could really shake things up.
Yeah, and it's already getting to that point with the back of the GTEs almost.
I'm sorry, Justin. Really, Hendrick got on the brakes really late. They're going into turn 1 and down to the center S's. He and Michael Abdelka really fighting. I don't think Abdelka really is comfortable right now with this battle he's got going on.
Yeah, I believe he came on the radio just a few moments ago to express that frustration, saying you're holding me up. And there's something along those lines, really. But of course, there's still some time. You don't want to get yourself worried about that quite yet. But we are seeing some cars getting shifted around in the GTEs, for example. Luke Cruz is losing a ton of spots at the moment, as Miguel Vigo a few laps ago got by. Just this past few moments, Joan Drouet, who has been moving up from second to last, got by him for the top 10 spot. And right now, Iker Espana, the other car who do not qualify, is right on his back door. And they have to worry with Roque Garcia following them in just a few seconds back from them. And that could take some of the slow cars right to behind them with some traffic. With what we're seeing with Luke Cruz right now, trying to hold off with the three-car train.
And credit where credit's due, Justin, to these drivers who have been carving their way through the field, because this is not the easiest track to make a pass.
Yeah, it's not.
I'm sorry, Justin. Now, Dexter Castro, one of the championship contenders in GT3, has had the moment. You see him going through the grass.
And he got a little bit of help, Sam. Charles Paradis coming through there. You're going to see this on the replay. It's the Mercedes coming through here. And, well, okay, this was a self-spin. I guess I caught a different incident. I'm sorry, my bad. So Dexter actually having trouble twice. I caught something else, but that's been there on the screen. That's done nothing to cost him but time, and now finds himself at the back of the field in 13th.
Yeah, now it's just with that last time, Sean, in that class, it could really hurt him with this overall track because while it's a minute 30 per lap, just about for that class, it's still a hard place to make a pass, as Sammy was trying to get to. As it gets to the point where if you have a lot of speed, like you have Gianni Vecchio, who just had to use some of the blue tarp, really coming towards turns 13 and 14 on his exit of one of the turns, really, while he's trying to pull away, where even if you do have the speed, there's not a lot of place to take advantage of it, really.
Well, we're talking about how hard passing is throughout all that. Carlo Labate has been trying to prove us wrong. He has taken third back from Sam Fitzpatrick, but Fitzpatrick wants to get it back. The other problem you got here is we keep mentioning the lack of overtaking opportunities. If there are any, it's down the front straight and also the run to turn 4. And so if you want to get a pass done, you have a very limited opportunity to do it there in the early part of the lap, and that could lead to some ambitious passes later on in the race. And now lap traffic going to start playing an issue. Justin mentioned this just a moment ago, Sean, but Satnam Singh, the last current drive on the lead lap, the only drive off of the lead lap, in fact, is Dexter Castro, who's in the pits, is about to get passed by Luis Paulo Gallen here.
Yes, he is. Right down into turn 1. They're going to get down to the center S's, and Satnam Singh is going to move out of the way. Let our leader get by. Good job there. We'll have a bear claw waiting for him. Again, he's going to swing out wide and let that battle continue. Clint Shading Smith able to clear him down at the bottom of the center S's. Now they'll all make their way down into Cerro del Lago. Satnam struggling just a little bit. And on your screen, Fitzpatrick, Hendrick. Nice battle there, Fitzpatrick. I don't want to say the guy is struggling, but certainly we're used to seeing him in the front, and he is trying to get there. finds himself now in a good battle with Carlo Labate.
Yeah, good battle in the middle of a GTE field right now too, being led by Brian Sutton. He's got Jonathan Bolt behind him, and Miguel Vigo just made a pass on Opalka behind, but the Ford GT hasn't gave up, although he's not on the desired line there, and it looks like Vigo will hold him off as in front of them. We saw Sutton and Bolt going at it. Bolt looking down the inside. You can try and make passes in this infield portion of the circuit, but it's not too easy.
Yeah, not too easy. That's why you saw Brault pull out there so he didn't get into the corner of Sutton, as this is a very tight section. Now it's the Pernaro that they're going through, and now going through the Majoro. As you can see, they're back to single file, but even if you do get by someone or get to the outside, they have a chance to really pick up the same speed to get right back to where they were. That's why, in part, it's hard to pass. And speaking of pass, a lot of drivers are passing Dexter Castro, who is down pit road and still sitting in pit road after that incident we saw moments ago.
Now, it's not unusual with these prototypes to see a dent onto the front end where they just go over the curb a little bit too much, but Clint Shane Smith, running in second, has a dent in the front end that was triggered when he ran into the back of a GT3 car of Juan Carlos Vacuum, and that could pose a problem, not necessarily now, Sean, but boy, we just started lapping cars and we've already seen one of our leaders get a ding in the front. That's not a good sign for the rest of the race.
Yeah, no, it's not. And obviously they're catching the traffic maybe a little bit quicker than we anticipated. That's okay though. Pit stops will break this up even more, and well, guess what? It'll really, really spread about, and we'll have to deal with even more traffic. So, plenty of excitement ahead here over the next 32 minutes. Clint Shane Smith.
Labate and Fitzpatrick we see on screen now are making their own excitement, battling for third there.
Yeah, leaving Clint Shane Smith ahead of him to just kind of run away right now. But Labate and Fitzy are really the story to talk about right now. They're having a really, really good run here. Into Interlagos. Fitzy's going to keep it easy here. So hard to get the power back down there coming off of Interlagos. Keep the car from sliding off track here. Good passing opportunity coming up, but Fitzpatrick's not going to take it.
I'll tell you what, Justin, I've got to confess I was a little bit concerned when I saw Tyler Tucker in the prototype there mixed in with the GTEs during qualifying. Fortunately, it looks like he just had a bad qualifying time. He's not too far behind Darren Farmer, running 8th in the prototype class and holding out ahead of the GTEs. So nice job by Tyler Tucker so far. They have a pretty solid race.
Yeah, pretty solid race indeed right now from him, really. And we're seeing a bunch of solid races, really, from just about everybody, because most of the GTEs have been just putting up a good battle. Jonathan Brault got by Brian Sutton, for example, and Miguel Vigo's now in the back door of Sutton. Just shows how competitive that group, for example, is. The most competitive, I think, of what's going on is we have a car on the outside that is Dexter Castro, who just went out of the pits, Sean. So something's still going on with his car despite getting repairs.
No, he was letting that traffic get through there. That's all. He was just, but up in front of him, there is another. I thought I saw a car go off.
I think it was a 20 of Yvonne Drolet.
Did he fall into a hole there or something? Because the car was there and it kind of disappeared on my screen. Maybe he took a tow. There's Drolet there on screen, guys.
It has been known to happen. Yeah, if you go into a place that the animators of iRacing said, no, we don't recognise that part of a track, it tows you to the pits.
I think that was it.
Yeah, because it looked like he was just about to run into a wall and then disappears.
Happened to me with some trees at Jefferson Reverse in the Mazda Miata race the other day. Oh dear, spoke too soon on Tyler Tucker. Looks like he's in trouble. Fortunately, his car's still in one piece. He's just going through the grass. Let's see GTE leaders by. Now, of course, and we got a great battle going on here, Justin.
Yeah, with those GTEs right now, Brault now getting passed again by Sutton, and Vigo's trying to make some peeking for some positions here. still very close. You can see Brault, Sutton, and Vigo are all at about the same pace, really. And it's been back and forth for that position with Sutton and Brault, for example. That is for about, in this field, 7th and 8th at the moment, just about. And it's just great battle, really, right there from all of them. And I can see them setting up once again. Brault probably going to set this up again, possibly to make a pass coming into the first corner down the front stretch. We'll see if he decides to be patient or tries to go for it once again, because this is setting up here with that toe right now down the straightaway.
You can always try again in turn 4. Needs to get a run out of his left-hander.
And it looks like he is getting that set run. A good exit there, and he is gaining up fairly quickly on Sutton. He's going for that pass, and the GT3 might be able to help him. Yeah, you can see the lap traffic coming to the factor. One of the GT3s in front of him is going to hold up Sutton. In fact, it's going to be 3 wide as Brault's going to go to the outside for the pass.
I expect these two to stay side by side all the way through this middle section. Sutton has a desired line now, but not here. And as a matter of fact, I think this is where Brault can seal the deal. Sutton now has to try and go defensive, and Miguel Vigo behind him.
Yeah, good timing from Brault. Noticing the GT3 in front of him to help time things up. I think it was a little unexpected at the same time, but it was the best position. As you said, if you lined it up at a 4, you lined it up good for that entire section of the back part of the course for that said pass.
And Sean, it looks like our scheduled stops have started at GT3. Charles Paradis making his way back out onto the track.
Yeah, I would definitely say the window is probably open at this point. We've got a little over 19 laps, I think, 26, just under 27 minutes. The window is definitely open. Charles is going to be the first of those to decide to come down. Dexter, obviously, he's got a pit stop, but that was much earlier. And that was because of a little bit of damage. He was actually in there for 5 minutes for Dexter Castro. So certainly any possibility of a win or a podium doesn't look to be in the cards for him. But Rocky Garcia is still your leader. And he is coming up on Dexter now. Dexter already 4 laps down.
And our overall leader, Luis Paulo Gallen, comes into the pits. He's going to make an early stop. Now this is surprising me a little bit. Usually I think our top contenders will wait until late in the race to come in. Of course, he has that desired first pit stall after qualifying in first position. And a very quick stop, already rolling.
Yes, sir. He is away. Still has 7th.
And if you guys remember that big battle that we were talking about a few moments ago with the GTEs that just got split up a bit because of lap traffic, Jonathan Brault now...
Oh, boy.
And Miguel Vigo went around, in fact, just now.
2 cars.
Now let's take a look at the GSRC replay. That was with the lap traffic there through 13 and 14. Yeah, you can see...
Looks like Opalka is taking the blame for that incident. He was the other car involved. That's a shame. I believe Opalka was our top running Ford GT. Actually have good representation of Fords today, 4 of them. Unfortunately, they're running towards the back of the class, and it looked like a bit of GT3 traffic contributed to that too, Sean.
Yeah, I think so, Sam. We've had some other trouble out here that I'm trying to pick up. Oh, man. Boy,
Iker Estefania is in the pits.
Yeah, he hit the car sitting in the middle of the track when, Alpaca, after his incident there, boy, he got creamed by Estefania. And it certainly looked like it was avoidable. I'm not sure what happened there, but boy, what a bad incident. Again, though, there's been other trouble out here. I'm trying to track it down. saw some of the GT3 drivers get on the radio.
Or even the Formula 1 drivers have proven in the past that this back straight, or front straight really, the run to the line, however you want to call it, is not the easiest place to spot a wreck. Long-time Formula 1 fans may remember 2003, where Fernando Alonso virtually came around the corner flat out and ran into the debris from an earlier incident that ended in the race being red flagged. That is not a straight run to the line.
Well, Clint Chainsmith finally clearing the GT3 leader, Rocky Garcia.
And the Labate-Fitzpatrick battle continues. No, it doesn't. Labate comes into the pits.
Yeah, and Sam Fitzpatrick just shutting through some...
I'm sorry, Yabu Utrera, Daniel Cruz. Utrera is trying to take this position away down in the Senna S's. They had just cleared Castro. Cruz able to take the position away. Fitzpatrick trying to get through here. He's going to back out of it. Play it careful.
Well, this is why it's probably a good decision for Labate to pit before he got involved in all of this.
You know what, Sam? Great point. Yes, Carlo looking like a genius right now.
Yeah, I'm surprised Sam Fitzpatrick didn't go in that time. Before all the chaos of all the traffic with the GT3 battle there. But some of the traffic right now, the GTEs are going through is some GT3s. While there is some space for the top two, it's about to get even more chaotic for the top four because Tyler Tucker is trying to get by a few of the cars. For example, Elliott Biddle is currently third, Dakota Fripp in fourth. As it is a mix of cars you're going to have to pass, cars that are going to pass you right this second.
Pit road's gotten quiet all of a sudden, which is very surprising considering we're right in the dead centre of a race. And as I say, that Ross Rizzo comes into the pits. This is a driver as Christopher Hendricks follows him in. Rizzo is a driver who we've only seen in the past couple of weeks and has had a lot of bad luck, Sean, but it looks like he does have a lot of pace.
Yeah, it does. I would agree, Sam. It does look like he has the pace to compete with these guys. I see Blake Haswell, his Daytona prototype, coming in now. So the dominoes are starting to fall in the Daytona prototypes. GT3s, we've only seen a few step out, although Rizzo now getting it together. He is down, away, and out of the pit lane.
Look at this traffic on screen. Smith, our overall leader, is having to deal with. Now, traffic has cost him the win in the past. Right now, it didn't look like he was in position to take it anyway. He'd been dropping a bit back of Gallon before this all started. Juan Carlos vacuum, I'm being told, is off course.
Yeah,
he is back on again.
Yeah, he had a tank slapper, unfortunately. Looks like it was out of Pico de Pato.
Yeah, a few drivers having some bad luck. You were mentioning the traffic, though. One of the people who backed out of said traffic to pit is your first GTE car, Dakota Fripp. And he is out very quickly right now. An 8.3 second stop, in fact. You have to wonder if he put enough fuel in here. Of course, he's probably splitting this race in about two with the time he went in, but he is the first to come in.
Well, of course, in the past, we've made note on the longer tracks of how they are not tracks you want to run out on. You can probably get away with it a little bit here if you're on the back straight, if you're on the main straight when you run out.
Yeah, as long as you're coming down the hill, Sam.
Yeah, I guess that's what's going to get you here is the elevation change.
Yeah, if you run out of Junsal, turn 12, then forget it, man. You're not making it back to the start-finish line.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you run out of gas up the hill, it's going to become even more dangerous because you might roll down the hill. Like I said, that happened to somebody almost in qualifier just about, with someone at the back of the GTEs now. So, you better hope that doesn't happen.
Oh, Santam Sign is off course, but looks like he's able to avoid the wall. He hadn't been having the best of races, but keeps it off the wall. We'll see if he's able to continue. Well, it's almost like there was oil on the track that lap or something, Sean, if I racing the road for that. I saw a few cars go off.
It's kind of like watching video from the Nürburgring, one of those stationary cams in one of the corners around the circuit.
Yeah, I was almost checking the weather here to see if there was a wind gust that blew them all off or something. The wind, it is a little bit gusty, about 10 miles an hour, but the track temperature is quite cool, 87 degrees, that should help the grip. And of course, one thing about Interlagos is you don't get the amount of power that you would at a regular circuit here because of how high the elevation is. And iRacing does take that into consideration when they build these circuits.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Sam. Not a good opportunity to get maximum horsepower out of these machines here, and it does make a difference. And right now, the big difference in the GT3 class is Rocky Garcia. He is 3 seconds ahead of Daniel Cruz. He's got some traffic that separates him, where he just did. In fact, Luis Paulo Gallon, the second place car, gets around Rocky Garcia. But Daniel Cruz has not been able to close this gap. Rocky's just been faster. Javi Utreras doing a good job to hang in there with the top three. Pretty well set. You've got to go all the way back to Mirko Dwatonic, who is 21.5 seconds back. So big spread back from the top three here in the GT3 class.
Of course, one thing that makes it a bit more of a headache for us, Justin, is that not all of the drivers have pit yet, especially in the GTE class.
Yeah, like I said, it was just the one stop so far, really, from Dakota Fripp. And guess what? He is still in the same position, really, where he came out of the pits, for the most part, right now. If you look at it, once it shuffles out, he's going to be probably in the same area. Yes, he's behind guys like Dakota Fripp and Lewis Cruz right now. No, but at the same time, when this all cycles out, he's going to be in a good spot because of that quick stop. He might be able to take advantage of the strategy game to come away with something because he's got a pretty quick car. He's shown that with the 4th fastest time. And he's going to need that strategy to catch up to Giovanni Vecchio right now, way up there on the grid right now, who is currently way up there with a lot of space now on a bunch of guys. And right now, that might be the strategy that might help him.
Brian Sutton, as we mentioned, the GTE's not having pit yet. He comes in, and I can't blame him. There was a pack of cars ahead of him, racing their way through turn 1 now with CM Skinner ahead of Charles Paradis and Jonathan Brolt. And Sutton saw that if he'd stayed out, he would have been involved in this little hornet's nest.
Yeah, again, a smart decision from both of these guys.
Oh, and they're making contact. Brolt makes and spins around Skinner. And I don't think there was a lot Brolt could have done there. Skinner was kind of crowding him, and Skinner was one that came off the worst.
Yeah, looking at...
Skinner's the one in the middle here, Justin. I think he comes over.
Boy, and they're not going to agree. They're going to agree to disagree on how that all worked out, Sam.
Yeah, because let's take a look at the onboard with Brolt. Brolt very unhappy with how this turned out too here. So yeah, as you can see, Skinner is the one in the middle. Then he seems to just drift up, not noticing Brolt's there, and Brolt doesn't let up. Just a not smart decision from Skinner there, but at the same time, I don't know what to really say. It was 3 wide there, or still risky no matter what. And Brolt does have some damage from that.
Meanwhile, the GTEs, GT3s are pitting Sean Garcia and Cruz.
Yeah, everybody in the GT3 class has pit except our leader, Javi Utreras.
Benjamin Perez, meanwhile, just coming out of his stall with a 10.1 second stop. For his fuel, Elliot Biddle has also come in as well, and he's just getting out in front of him a few seconds and having a better exit out of the pits with how he's boosting out of here, going down into turn number 4 here into the Descada del Lago.
Sam Fitzpatrick pits from the prototype lead, and as far as the leaders are concerned, that will complete the round of stops for the prototypes. Now Gallen has taken the lead, but it's actually going to be quite close for second. Fitzpatrick may have leapfrogged Clint Shane Smith here, but it's going to be a drag race down into turn 4. Maybe, actually, I think Fitzpatrick's going to have the edge.
Okay, GT3 leader Yavi Utreras is in the pit, guys. Rocky Garcia in second right now. And Rocky's going to go to first. He comes across the line, takes it away. Daniel Cruz also going to pass.
As you're saying that, Dustin Hickman went around with them into the pits from second position in the GTEs. So he's going to go in and get his fuel real quick here. He's going to need a fairly quick stop. It's going to be about 9 seconds on the dot for Dustin Hickman as he's going to get rolling and go out of the pit exit through the rumble strips and into turn number 4 here. He's going to come out right in the middle of traffic just about, or just in front of traffic, in fact, with some GT3s and with Dakota Fripp just behind him.
Still a couple of cars left to pit. I'm showing Aaron Farmer and of course Gianni Vecchio and Jonathan Brolt. Brolt will want that damage. Farmer's in.
Yeah, at the same time, the last place car currently in GTEs on active cars on the track in Pablo Valela, Uribe has gone in for his stop. And Vecchio is now in from the lead. So he's finally coming in with 12 minutes to go.
Guys, we got some congestion here on track in the GT3 class. Back here, Marco Totonic and Charles Paredes having a battle. The GTE car of Dakota Fripp in a battle of his own, trying to get through. Finding it very, very hard to navigate that. And then you've got Tyler Tucker back there in his Daytona prototype.
Jonathan Brolt comes into the pits. Key here, Justin, is Vecchio will get out in front of this hornet's nest. I was a little worried that he wouldn't.
Yeah, he comes out, and right now, I don't think you get the damage really. I don't know what Brolt would do with the damage really. As you can see, he's not going to get that said repaired with a 9-second flat stop. So it wasn't really affecting him speed-wise, I don't think. But as well, his last time, even before coming towards the pits, was about 1 minute and 30 seconds, give or take. He's going to come out right in the middle of Hornets Nest himself.
Yeah, back to Sean. I was watching that battle. It went all the way down to turn 4. A little bit of contact.
Man, 3 wide. Jeez. In the Ferradura.
Yeah, let's go back and get this on replay. It ended out okay, but go back a few seconds here to Dortanic, who really got the worst end of it. But yeah, they were 3 wide into turn 4, and you had to know, Sean, that it wasn't going to be clean.
No, it's boy, that really almost ended in tears there. Dortanic there in that charcoal, gunmetal, and yellow car. You see him here on the inside and going to come around the outside flashing the lights. Well, that doesn't really help. But they're just sending it 3 wide down in the turn, locking them up. Dwatonic's the one that has to give way there. He's obviously not happy about that.
Well, we've seen 2/3 of a race now complete, and in each third of a race, we've seen a 3 wide scenario in turn 4 that didn't work out. Hopefully, we won't see it in the last 10 minutes here. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. If you make one mistake, you'll lose a lot of time here. You can see Deltonic here, it didn't really hurt him as much. What if it hurts a guy who has a big advantage like Vecchio? 6-second lead in the GTEs, for example. Oh, right now, you can see drivers are actually apologizing to each other from all the traffic going in fact, with Jonathan Braun and Sutton discussing everything, for example. So, one mistake could ruin the rest of your race. Yes,
battle for second shaping up in the prototype. It's kind of been like this since Fitzpatrick got by Smith during the round of stops, but then also not too far behind them we have Carlo Labate. But of course the big winner right here, if the order stays the way it is Fitzpatrick, who will extend his points lead over Michael Evdoka, who has not had a great race. Evdoka all the way back in 6th.
Fitzpatrick leading him here into Bico de Pato, turn 10. Make your way down the hill here. Magulo.
Let's do a bit of a rundown here, Sean, now that we've got the stop cycle through for each class, so our viewers can get up to speed. Luis Paulo Gallen in prototype has a huge lead. It's 11 seconds over Sam Fitzpatrick, who is currently heading this three-way battle for second place. And we're going to keep an eye on this, because this could be about to change in turn number 1 as Clint Shane Smith gets a good run. No, he stays behind for now, but again, that could change in turn number 4. And as these two battle for second place, Carlo Labate closes in for 4th place, but they space out a little bit on the run down to turn 4. So let's jump back to the 5th place car in the prototype class, and that is Christopher Hendrich. Justin.
In your GTAs, it is Gianni Vecchio currently leading with about a 7-second lead over Dustin Hickman, as he's been able to put down the fast pedal and continue his fast pace. Still in the 128s, both of these guys right now. Elliott Biddle's just 2.5 seconds behind them, and losing ground, in fact, in 3rd spot, Dakota Fripp in 3rd spot at the moment, as Elliott Biddle is currently still in 4th position. While my scoring is a little mixed up there, someone who is not mixed up with how he's running is currently Benjamin Perez, still up in 5th spot. Went up 1 spot since the start of the race and still putting down clean times. Consistent lap times too, compared to his best lap, just 4/10 off of it right now for that top 5. Sean, with your GT3s.
GT3s, Rocky Garcia still leading this race. He's led it for quite a while. The only time he didn't lead it was when he was in the pits. Daniel Cruz in 2nd. Now this is the good news. Cruz gaining a little bit at a time, but he's running out of time. Only about 5.5 laps to get it done. Maybe he can get there, but I don't know if he can pass him. We'll see. Back to 3rd, it's Yavi Utreras. He's held on to that for quite a while. Yavi, though, seems to be kind of stuck. I don't know if he can get to Daniel Cruz. Cruz is worried about getting to Rocky and nothing else. Ross Rizzo in 4th. Having a really, really solid run today. Gonna have to give a hats off here to the Australian. Ross now in 4th, and then you're going to go back to 5th. Jesse Stevens, who's currently 16 seconds out of 1st place on Rocky Garcia.
And Sam Fitzpatrick can finally breathe a sigh of relief, because as they came into turn 1 this lap around, CM Skinner kind of bulked Clint Shane Smith in turn 1 and actually cost Smith a position to Labate, who now moves up to 3rd in class. But the biggest way it has hurt them both is it has created a good gap for Sam Fitzpatrick, who has been as we watch a replay here, you'll see Fitzpatrick in 2nd is able to get by Skinner, and then the other two kind of get held up and switch positions as a result.
Boy, Skinner out here just making friends today, adding people to that Christmas card list.
Yeah, well, in a lot of cases, it's the wrong place at the wrong time, as our director pointed out. So it might be a Christmas list to apologize in some cases. We'll have to see with that. Some great runs across the track still. You have Yabi Utreras trying to get by Vecchio, for example. Your GTE leader right on the back door. You're seeing your prototypes as well. That's still clean battle and could be a lot of positions shaped up, especially with Brault now in there in the mix with lap traffic. Of course, that's a slower pace, and that damage seems to actually be affecting him more than I thought personally, as he lost ground on Sutton after that stop. In fact, so he's in the middle of a prototype sandwich with tire smoke coming up, in fact, from that entrance.
Yeah, very easy to do around here with some heavy braking areas. And also, I think just because it's not a high-speed track, some drivers might want to have their tyre pressures a little on the low side, which could contribute to that. But I think one driver in GTE, Justin, who's not going to want to hit much traffic is Dustin Hickman, mainly because Dakota Fripp is only about 3 seconds behind him. And let's not forget, Fripp qualified second. He's a very fast driver around here. He just had some, he didn't do too well in the opening laps of this race.
Yeah, in the opening laps, he just didn't have the proper line before settling into single file, and then got taken advantage of by some of the more of these time slot veterans for the HPP Simulation Sports Car Challenge, as Christopher Hendrick's connection has dropped meanwhile in the prototypes. But to get back to point, Dakota Fripp's on a mission. He wants to get back to second at least. He is trying to speed by as many cars as he can. So if you're Dustin Hickman, you're worrying right now, because right now it's a pace that's faster by a few tenths at least per lap. And if Hickman makes one mistake in one corner, that's going to be you possibly moving you down to the bottom step of the podium.
Yeah, the significant thing there about Christopher Hendrick losing his internet connection is he had been running 5th in prototypes. What's significant about that? Well, the first driver behind him was Michael Evdoka, so that moves Evdoka up a position. He won't lose as many points to Fitzpatrick today, Sean, but he's still going to lose quite a few with Fitzpatrick up there in second place.
Yes, sir, he is. And that's going to work out for everybody there. In the field that's still on track right now, with a chance to maybe pick up another spot.
Now 3 minutes left to go on the clock, and Gallen just crossed the line. I think we might have an extra lap and what these drivers anticipate. I would not be surprised if Gallen takes a white flag in 2 laps time with about 10 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, we're almost at about lap 30. It's lap 29 with these cars going around with about 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go. The maths pointed to about this. I wasn't expecting it to be exact. We got some trouble, meanwhile, in the middle of the chicanes. Christoph John and the GT3s and Dexter Castro in the grass.
Well, you've got Dexter Castro getting in hot here. This is in Pinheiro. Christopher John, maybe a little bit slow there through the apex. Dexter's going to make contact with him, and they're going to get together and take a while to get it sorted out.
Hopefully these drivers will be able to let it go and finish this race.
Yeah, John is still sitting there, actually, off on the grass. A lot of cars coming through.
Yeah, I'm thinking John might be trying to just wait for an opening to then get back on the gas, exactly what he's going to do, and try and keep rolling. It just took much longer compared to Castro after that one, because that's an awkward spot to really try and come out in a blind corner on top of that, I think.
Yeah, I think I think Gallen is going to cross the line with 5 seconds left on the clock. And so I hope some drivers accommodated for this to be in a 32-lap race, because he's on lap 31 right now. And when I was looking through the results to previous races today earlier, that's the distance that most of them have run to. If this runs to lap 32, hope all these drivers topped off for fuel.
Okay, right now my timing and scoring is telling me, Sam, that when he comes to the start-finish line, Luis Paulo Gallen, he will take the white flag.
I concur.
Question is, can he get through Yavi Utreres and Dustin Hickman? Utreres and Hickman having a little battle of their own, and boy, Gallen finds himself having to work through that as they get out of Jinsao. Side by side with Yavi Utreres. Utreres lets him go, but listen, Utreres has got his own little race going on too.
Yeah, these are all leaders that Gallen is going by right now. Leaders of the other classes that we've mentioned multiple times today. Look at the clock as Gallen comes on the front straight. It's still at about 7 seconds, about 5 seconds as he crosses the line. We do have one more lap.
Oh boy, that's the thing I can really say. The only leader that's not in this group is Vecchio from the GTEs at this point.
No, he's only at the end there. He's right off in the distance of the camera.
Okay. Gallon is getting to our GT3 leader here on the last lap.
Okay,
Rocky Garcia right in front of him.
Well, Gallon, when he laps Garcia here, as Cruz and Hickman from two different classes go side by side behind, Gallon's going to lap Garcia, so Garcia will pretty much finish the race. Now, Valsecchio still has to go around one more time, but every other car in his class is an extra lap down, so he could even stop on the final lap and still win his race.
Yeah, he's just in his own world, just focusing on here. So this is going to be cruising and sailing really from Vecchio, as he's going to cross the line in just a few moments for lap number 32. We'll see if he has posted the checkered flag. I believe he will not.
Well, Gallon's about to take it right behind him, because as Valsecchio crosses the line, gets the white flag, a flagman picks up the black and white and throws it for Luis Paulo Gallon, who wins prototype.
And GT3 won by Rocky Garcia, Daniel Cruz, and Yabi Utreras come to finish out the podium.
But you mentioned it, Justin, it's already guaranteed now, with every other GTE car being being one lap down to our overall leader. Vecchio has already virtually won the GTE race.
Yep, he's just got to make his way around the track here, and he's got it all sealed here because everyone else was behind the other two leaders. He can just put it in cruise control if he wanted to as he goes through the chicanes, as he's making his way now again towards Bico Tapato.
And by Blake Haswell, who runs out of fuel on the final lap.
Yeah, I was just about to note that I don't think that was an expected obstacle he had to avoid there. A few cars still running on the track in front of him, but it should be clear sailing as Vecchio is going to approach Echo Cabanas, as this is going to approach turn number 14. Lots and lots of space. He will be the last car to cross the line, just about here out of 15, and he'll take a second straight victory in your GTEs.
Well, a lot of points implications, a lot of drivers with good races, some a little off a pace this week. We'll run it all down for you with our full race rundown and driver interviews when we come back here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Hello and welcome back to Interlagos, where we just witnessed 45 minutes of racing here in the HPP Simulation Sportscar Challenge. 35 cars on not the biggest track on the sim, but for the most part they all put on a clean race, but none cleaner than Luis Paulo Gallon, whose margin of victory at the end was only 7.5 seconds. Maybe it was just back enough to be careful in those last couple of laps. He also had a lot of lap traffic to deal with towards the end. Second place, although it's going to be a good day in the points, that is Sam Fitzpatrick, and then Carlo Labate third in class there. Clint Shane Smith dropped back to fourth, and Michael Evdoka was able to get fifth place in class, considering what happened to Hendrich late on there. There you see the rest of the prototypes are Aaron Farmer, who was able to leapfrog Blake Haswell on the last lap when Haswell ran out of fuel. Tyler Tucker also down there, and then the only prototype you don't see on that screen will be Christopher Hendrich, who had that internet connection issue while running with fifth place with just a few minutes left to go, Justin.
Yes, and while it was a similar situation really in the GTEs, to the point where only one car finished on the lead lap. Gianni Vecchio, who is at 4 in the morning right now, probably celebrating once again before going to bed after another good victory over Dustin Hickman, who comes away second. Dustin Hickman, the number one car, second overall. The second car, I should say, Dakota Fripp, came away with the third spot in your GTEs, trying to claw his way to Hickman. Just not enough time to catch up. Elliot Biddle comes away with a fourth position finish, right where he qualified. While Benjamin Perez, this could affect the point standings a bit. He falls to fifth overall, finishing in the top five. A decent run for him, but it could have a few point implications for your HPP Simulation Sports Car Challenge. Meanwhile, Brian Sutton is currently just outside that top five. In sixth, Jonathan Brault is in seventh, while Luke Cruz finished eighth. Pablo Valenzuela Uribe finished eighth, and four cars did not complete the grid tonight, or complete the race, I should say, due to trouble. Eker Estefana, Gregors Apolka, Miguel Vigo, and Ivan Drulet, all four of them involved in incidents within the same 3-4 laps. From 18 laps down to 23 laps down, Sean.
Okay, GT3 class, the big winner, Rocky Garcia. Second place, Daniel Cruz. Yavi Utrera is going to finish third tonight. Ross Rizzo. Fourth, Jesse Stevens with a fifth place finish. Sixth, going to go to Charles Paredes. And CM Skinner going to finish seventh. Mirko Dwatanik, eighth. Christopher John will finish ninth. Satnam Singh, he had his trouble this evening, but he does finish the race. 10th. 11th, going to go to Dexter Castro. Juan Carlos Vacawame. 30th and 31st, going to go to the Brazilian Lucas Karsten, who did actually finish with 18 laps under his belt. So the Brazilian getting about a little over half of this race in, guys. But what a great race today here in Brazil.
Alright, well, usually when we speak to this guy, it's at this race winner. Unfortunately, Sam Fitzpatrick, you didn't get the race win today, but you did have a good day in the points, because it seems Evdoka didn't have such a hot race today in Interlagos.
Yeah, he struggled a little bit. I think he just never really got up to pace this week. But yeah, it was a decent points haul. Second place is a good result, so yeah, gotta be happy with that.
I feel like we've seen you come through the field a couple of races this season. Would you say you're a better race driver than a qualifier?
Yeah, I'm kind of horrendous at qualifying. I've just, never... I think I've only got one front row start this season, so I've really struggled in qualifying. But it makes the race more fun and more entertaining for you guys, I guess, so it's all worth it.
So you have a good points lead over Evdoka, Labate and the rest, with just 2 rounds left to go at VIR and at Imola. Are those tracks where you think you can keep these consistent finishes and the race wins coming and take home a championship in 2 weeks' time?
Well, I love Imola, but I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to actually make that round. So VIR might be my final round, but I think the lead that I got and the drop week is looking quite good, and VIR is just going to be just crazy. I think I personally don't actually know the circuit, so that's going to be quite interesting to learn. And yeah, should be hopefully can hang on to the championship win.
Well, if it's anything, Sam, any consolation, you'll be learning VIR in a high downforce car on iRacing. I know when I learned it, I was in a Dodge Stratus in real life. That's quite a bit scary too. But I'll tell you what, man, you're a fast driver. We all have faith in you, and we wish you the best of luck next week.
Cheers for that. Cheers.
Well, Sean, it looks like we got another prototype finisher here. Clint Smith, he's looking for his first win still. Wasn't quite able to get it today, Sean.
Not quite, but you know what, Clint, fourth place finish, not bad overall. A little bit of traffic out there to work with on a very tricky course today. Talk to us about it.
Yeah, how's it going, guys? Yeah, no, I mean the race went alright. Yeah, I knew I wasn't going to be able to pip Louise because all week Louise has been about 0.4 seconds faster than myself in most practice sessions and things like that, so I knew I wouldn't be able to get him. My plan was to get second place, but yeah, unfortunately lap traffic just didn't play my way this time around, so it's one of those things, sometimes you win some, you lose some with lap traffic, so this week just wasn't in my place, so yeah, always try for next time and hopefully yeah, get that win eventually.
Well, with the off-camber turns, the elevation changes here, it does make working with the traffic a bit unpredictable at times. You're not always sure with that car in front of you, especially one of the slower classes. Not really always sure which way they're going to go, what line they're going to take, are you?
Yeah, no, there's one incident, I think, with I think the Audi coming to the last 90-degree left-hand corner. It looked like he was going left and then right and then left and yeah, almost slammed into the back of him, so I wasn't too quite sure where it was going, but that's all part of multi-class racing. Yeah, you just have to try your best to get through it all, and just one of those things. Unfortunately, I caught lap traffic at the wrong time. Obviously set the second fastest lap of the race, only 0.1 behind Louise, but it's like I said last week, it's not always the fastest person that wins the race. Sometimes it's the smartest person and somebody with a bit of luck.
Well, Clint, it's I think just about afternoon there for you right now, or close to it, or just after it, so we're going to let you get off to lunch. I would imagine that's in order at this point, is it not?
Yeah, lunch with the family, and then take the kids to the playground. They've been bugging us all week to take them, so so you got to do the family thing. So yeah, right. So big thanks to you guys for doing the broadcast as always as well, and thanks to Sam and Carlo for putting in good racing. Yeah, it was really fun tonight, and I only got fourth, but it was a lot of fun. So yeah, look forward to next week.
All right, Clint. Well, cheers to you, mate. Hey, enjoy your afternoon with the kids and the family. All right, buddy.
No, thanks for that. Have a good day.
All right, and that is Clint Shane Smith from Australia, guys, and he's going off with the family for the Saturday afternoon down under. And now Gianni Vecchio has caught up with Justin Prince.
Yes, as you mentioned, it's the afternoon where our last person comes from. It's 4 a.m. for your GTE victory winner today in Gianni Vecchio, which Vecchio finished as the only car left on the lead lap for the GTEs. Everyone else finished behind the prototype and GT3 leaders. So Vecchio, how were you able to do that tonight with the fast pace you set for the entire race right from the starting gun?
Yeah, just had a good setup, and I wanted to make sure at the start of the race that I would have a good gap between P2, which was Dustin, my teammate, and the rest of the field. And yeah, after I had that gap, I just wanted to manage traffic well and all that stuff.
Yeah, you managed the traffic well for just about the entire race. Did you have any difficulties at all with how you were running? Because from what we saw up in the broadcast booth, it seemed like you were having a very easy race on cruise control just about.
Yeah, and it was very easy. And yeah, also my spotter, which was Tim, every time when, for example, a car spun in front of me, he told me very early and he every time he made sure that everything is okay, also with the fuel and that stuff. So he made it very easy for me. So yeah, it was in cruise mode that race.
Yeah, Tim Birdie had been running in a few races, has about 60 points. You're actually going to pass him now with your second straight victory in the HPP Simulation Sports Car Challenge in the standings to just around the top 15 just about. How are you enjoying your competition so far? Because this is now your second straight victory with Montreal and Interlagos before going into the rest of the difficult schedule with VIR and Imola. The question is basically, how are you going to keep that momentum up?
Yeah, I just love to drive the Ferrari. It's a car that suits pretty much perfectly to me. And yeah, I think I will do also the next 2 weeks, which are in Virginia, I think, and Imola. And yeah, hopefully I will have, again, good races. And hopefully I win those races also.
You do have the talent to do it from what we've seen so far, and a good setup to go along with it. Is there anything you want to say to your opponents, like, for example, the Benjamin Perez's of the world who calls you the aliens of this series?
Yeah, I'm with a few guys. I'm one of the fastest guys in the series, but also Benjamin made a very good setup this week for his team, Bushfink, and yeah, it's nice to hear that. But there are also many fast guys out there, so yes.
Yes, you were one of those fast ones. We'll see if you can keep up that pace at VIR in Imola in the next couple of weeks. Thank you very much for the time, and enjoy your rest, my friend, because I believe it's sometime after 4 o'clock in the morning now at this point.
Yeah, so I think I will go to sleep again, which till, I don't know, till 2 in the afternoon or something.
Okay, thank you very much for the time. Continue those burnouts in your dreams.
Yeah, thanks.
Alright, so that was our GTE winner Gianni Vecchio. Give you a quick championship update here. Sam Fitzpatrick, as we mentioned, had a good day in prototype, so he extends his points lead over Michael Evdoka. In GTE, Benjamin Perez, who has only had 2 podium finishes all season long. Yes, he did finish around 5th place today, but Brian Sutton and Elliot Biddle, the 2 drivers behind him in the points, didn't have such a hot race either, so that kind of nullifies any advantage they could have gained. Also, Yavi Utrera, the thing that's been keeping him at the top of the GT3 field all season long. Every race he has been in, he has taken a podium finish, and if you like statistics like that, until tonight's race, every race that CM Skinner had been in, he had finished 4th in GT3, had just not broken into the podium yet. He's got 2 more weeks to try and make it happen. As a former native of Virginia and a person who's gone around VIR, I echo the sentiments. I think we're going to see a chaotic race next week, Justin, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of this championship plays out.
Yeah, I am, because even with some of our top drivers in points struggling, like in the GTE class, for example, it's still fairly wide open, really. And as you mentioned, it's going to be a very chaotic track with VIR, because a lot of these tracks at the end of the schedule are set up to be not just because of the events going on at them, because of the challenges for them. Because if you have been racing almost every single week or just about every single week, you should do well here. If you are not experienced enough or not comfortable with a track like we saw tonight, you gotta figure out a way to continue the momentum you got from tonight at VIR if you want a shot at that points championship, Samuel. So we're going to have to see what's going to happen in all the classes, really, right when we get to green next week at VIR, friend.
Alrighty, well, we will be back here at 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time on the Global Sim Racing channel for that race in 1 week's time. Before we leave, we've got a few people we would like to thank, including HPP Simulation and Mark Hargett for putting on this championship, as well as the IMSA community for putting on a fantastic show tonight. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcasts, so you see them listed on your screen. Additional thanks to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde, who provide us with our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of their great work. Thanks to the team today, Sean, Justin, Unted and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com, or you can check out our social media on Twitter at GSR Channel or Facebook at facebook.com/globalsimracingchannel. All of our upcoming races for our other series are listed on the screen, so check those out, mark them down on your calendar, and don't miss another second of exciting racing action. But until then, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.